Okay, so what will we do this week? This week, we're going to look at mass wasting. And so mass wasting is a term that is describing, maybe the layman's term would be landslides. And so any material that is moving a downslope as a result of gravity. So this can be, rocks, it can be soil, it can be a mixture of all of these things. It can be fast, it can be slow. But there's a bunch of different mass wasting events. And of course, we can categorize these different events based on what we just talked about. The type of material that's moving downslope, the speed at which it's moving downslope. So certainly some of these can be catastrophic and pretty, spectacular. Others are very slow. All kind of have some impacts on, society potentially if there's people there. And so we're going to talk this week about that. So the lecture here is going to walk you through the different types of mass wasting events, kind of triggers, reasons we get mass wasting events. And certainly it is related to weathering and erosion. So a lot of times, a great example of a mass wasting is if you go to the Grand Canyon and you look down and someone tells you, see that little river way down there, it has carved this canyon. It seems pretty hard to believe that a little river that's, almost a mile down has carved this big wide canyon. Well, the river is actually cutting downward, but what's widening the canyon is mass wasting. So as the river cuts down, the walls of the canyon are very steep and they're unstable and they potentially fail, and then that material crumbles down into the river carries it away, and now the canyon walls have receded a little bit. And as we continue that process, we can widen the canyon. So then when we go look in the Grand Canyon today, super wide, a lot of that is just the mass wasting, just eroding, weathering the edges of the canyon farther and farther back. And so you'll learn about that in the lecture material. And of course, this week, because of course, we're always a little behind, I'm going to have you take the lecture quiz here online. And the link to it is right there. I did post a few extra mass wasting events. We might look at these in class too, but you'll have the opportunity to watch those here on the online version here. The article is a USGS article that describes the hazards of debris flows. Now, debris flows is a kind of a subcategory of mass wasting. It is a type of mass wasting event. So you can read through that and take the quiz. And then the video here, there's an Earth Revealed series. Once again, it's kind of reinforcing the information that's presented in the PowerPoint. And for the homework, what I'm going to have you do is I want to have you play around a little bit with Google Earth. But we're just going to use the web version. And so you can see there's a link here. You can click and go into that. And then there's a file that you'll import into the web version. And then it's basically all the file is little stops. So when you click them, it'll take you to a location that I've kind of bookmarked for you. And then you can evaluate what's going on there. There is this little tutorial here you can click. It'll walk you through the process of importing the file and kind of walking your way through how the homework's going to work. And once you've got that set up, when you hit the link here, it'll take you basically to a quiz that's not timed, but this is where I'll pose the questions and then you can answer those about each of the stops. And so that's how you'll do the homework this week. And hopefully we'll have plenty of time to get through that. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to contact me.